Good morning. Welcome to Friday. I'm John Simney in the MNC News Center. It's June the 28th of 2024, and the news getting started now with our top local stories. An officer-involved shooting in South Bend, which claimed the life of a homeless man, has been deemed justified by the St. Joseph County Prosecutor, though an internal investigation on the matter is now underway within the South Bend Police Department. And here's Police Chief Scott Ruskowski.
We have many layers. Supervisors right off the get-go. We will take the information that we obtain from our investigators and from our partnering agencies that's been handed over to the prosecutor and then to us. We have a use of force review committee. We have firearms experts. We have taser experts and instructors.
It was back on June 11th at LaSalle and Niles Avenue when 69-year-old John Nieswinder was shot and killed by officers after threatening them with a knife. Despite multiple attempts to de-escalate the situation with non-lethal means, the St. Joe County prosecutor said one officer was forced to fire his weapon due to the imminent threat to safety. News at 5 o'clock, powered by Burkholder Buildings and Supply. If it can be built in an office, a farm, or anywhere else, Burkholder is the highest quality for any need. Burkholder Buildings and Supply can help. Call today. A candidate in the 2022 Goshen Community School Board elections who pleaded guilty to election fraud has had that plea accepted by the judge.
School Board member Jose Elizalde admitted to filing a fraudulent report as a level 6 felony and will serve a suspended sentence of 365 days on probation. His sentencing is set for early August. 3 others, Roger Nofziger, Mario Garber, and Andrea Johnson, face similar charges for filing fraudulent reports and accepting contributions under false names. The Goshen News reports former mayor and school board member Alan Kaufman is also charged with filing fraudulent reports, but he faces 5 counts of the misdemeanor. Tommy Lee, MNC News.
Indiana State Police are still looking for 14-year-old Bryson Muir of Logansport, and they're asking for your help to find him.
On June 16th, he and his mother visited Bryson's grandmother in Ohio. It was shortly after this visit that Bryson's grandmother contacted authorities in Ohio to report injuries to her grandson.
That's Indiana State Police Captain Ron Galvez. Not long after leaving the Ohio home, Muir's mother was pulled over by police, but the teen was nowhere to be found. If you know anything about the boy's disappearance, call 911. A Cassopolis man on his motorcycle is recovering after colliding with a deer. That collision happened around 10:30 Wednesday night in the area of Fox Street and North O'Keefe Road in LaGrange Township. The 52-year-old man was traveling southbound when the deer entered the roadway. The man then lost control of the bike, which went down on its side and traveled for another 500 yards. The motorcyclist was transported to South Bend Memorial Hospital with minor injuries. The Supreme Court is overturning the federal bribery conviction of a northwestern Indiana mayor.
James Snyder, a Republican and former mayor of Portage, was convicted after taking $13,000 from a local trucking company after it had won city contracts. Snyder has maintained his innocence, saying the money was a payment for consulting work. In ruling in Snyder's favor, the High Court stated that states and localities can set different standards for when an official can or cannot accept gifts following an official act. The majority said it was wrong for authorities to convict Snyder under federal law. Morgan Hopkins, MNC News.
And new this morning on MNC, more than $60 million in state tuition funding went to Indiana's virtual schools, according to the latest numbers released.
In all, those dollars covered roughly 8,500 students, according to the Indiana Capital Chronicle. Indiana Connections Academy, the state's largest virtual charter, had nearly 5,800 students enrolled and a teacher per classroom ratio of 16-1. Those numbers were submitted to the Indiana State Budget Committee last week. Each year, virtual charter schools are required by law to submit data to the Indiana Department of Education with the number of student-teacher meetings conducted in person or via video conference, classroom size, the ratio of teachers per class, as well as state funding totals. Derek Decker, MNC News.
Whirlpool Corporation may be acquired by German engineering group Robert Bosch. The news first surfaced from Reuters. This after recent restructuring at Whirlpool included the loss of an estimated 1,000 employees from their Benton Harbor headquarters. Spokespeople for both Bosch and Whirlpool said they don't comment on rumors or speculation. The very latest now is Indiana's governor and attorney general are asking the state's highest court to schedule new execution dates for state prisoners on death row.
Governor Holcomb and Attorney General Todd Rokita say the state has a fresh batch of the drug cocktail needed to perform lethal injections. With that, they want the state Supreme Court to schedule an execution date for Joseph Corcoran, who has been on death row since 1997 for killing 4 people in Fort Wayne. He's one of 8 men on death row who have exhausted all their appeals. It's been 15 years since Indiana has executed any prisoners given the death penalty. Kirk Darling, Network Indiana.
The state of Michigan's ban on taxpayers funding abortion is being challenged in court.
The American Civil Liberties Union suing the state over its ban on Medicaid paying for abortions. The group says that ban violates the right to reproductive freedom, which Michigan voters added to the state's constitution in 2022. An effort by state lawmakers last year to repeal the ban fell 1 vote short of passage. The ACLU filing the suit on behalf of YWCA Kalamazoo, which has paid for more than 150 abortions for Medicaid recipients in the last year. Earlier this week, a judge blocked enforcement of Michigan's 24-hour waiting period for abortion. Jack Callahan, Fox News.
A letter from some 500 Hoosier organizations and individuals has been sent to Governor Eric Holcomb requesting that he establish a statewide commission to tackle what they describe as Indiana's extreme housing crisis.
The letter was signed by housing providers, developers, community service organizations, faith-based groups, and individual voters. Andrew Bradley with the nonprofit Prosperity Indiana says the General Assembly failed to pass legislation last session to address the affordable housing emergency.
The rate of affordable and available housing in Indiana has worsened just in the past couple of years. We now actually have a lower rate of affordable housing than the typical Midwest state. And in fact, we now have a lower rate than the U.S. average.
Bradley says it's imperative the governor create a commission on housing safety, stability, and affordability through an executive order. It would be charged with identifying sources of funding and coordinating agencies and resources to address the problem. Heather Starr, MNC News.
Happy Hour will be reinstated in Indiana beginning on July 1st. That law was brought back into the social trend, signed back in March of this year. Happy Hour had previously been banned by the state back in 1985. Restaurants are still prohibited from discounting beverages between 9 at night and 3 in the morning and cannot offer bottomless specials. Well, heading into election season, there are still signs of a split in Michigan's Republican Party as the state party leadership fight continues on.
GOP Party Chair Pete Hoekstra says that the party is united with a single objective: return Donald Trump to office. Former Chair Christina Caramo continues her fight despite a judge barring her from calling herself state party chair 4 months ago. Bridge, Michigan reports the GOP precinct delegates are reporting to Hoekstra that they're running into voters concerned about Trump's new criminal record as they knock on doors. Tommy Lee, MNC News.
And a new study has Indiana not at the top for hoops in the USA.
The experts at Fadeaway World analyzed multiple factors to create the ultimate basketball ranking to determine the best states for hoops. They looked at the birthplaces of NBA and WNBA players, Hall of Fame inductees, the number of NBA, WNBA, G League, and NCAA Division I teams, and the number of champions each state produced. And by their calculations, Indiana ranks the 5th best state for basketball. California topped the list, followed by Texas, while New York is 3rd. Illinois placed 4th, Michigan 6th, and Kentucky was 15th. Wes Woodward, Network Indiana.
Partly cloudy skies today, a chance of a few scattered showers, high temperatures right around 80 degrees. As we head into tonight, we'll see a few scattered showers this evening, showers and thunderstorms possible overnight as we drop down to near 70. And then for tomorrow, showers and thunderstorms likely, especially during the middle of the day, high temperatures at 85. I'm Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
You can get the morning's top local stories on demand by subscribing to the Local News Podcast. Go to 953mnc.com, click where it says On Demand.
Podcasts by Federated Media.